This is Geometry, Unit 3.1. We'll talk about conditional statements. A conditional statement is a logical statement that has two parts. A hypothesis and a conclusion. We often write an if-then form. If-then form is a form of a conditional statement in which the if part contains the hypothesis and the then part contains the conclusion. So like we just said, a hypothesis is the then part. And the conclusion is the... Oh, I'm sorry, I said that backwards. Did you copy me? Is the if part. And the conclusion is the then part. We'll talk more about what that means here in a second. The converse. The if and then portions of the statement are interchanged. The hypothesis and conclusion are interchanged. That means they are switched. I didn't want to say the if and then are switched, because the if and then are not switched. We don't say then if. Okay? But we take the hypothesis, which is found near the if, and the conclusion, which is found near the then, and we interchange those. And then finally, a counterexample is a specific case for which a conjecture or which a conclusion is false. What's another situation that the conclusion could have been? Is there a different situation? Is there a different way the conclusion could have been? So down here, we're going to do a few of these statements. Write a conditional statement in if-then form. Underline the hypothesis and circle the conclusion. Decide if the statement is true or false. If false, listen to that carefully. If false, then do a counterexample. Write the converse of each statement and tell if its statement is true or false. And if false, do a counterexample. So we'll dream about the 4th of July. So today is the 4th of July, so we are not in school. That is called a conditional statement. Notice what's happening in the beginning and what's happening at the end. We can underline one topic and we can circle another topic. So if it is July 4th, then our conclusion is we are not in school. So we have our hypothesis and we have our conclusion. If it is July 4th, then we are not in school. We're not in school. Is that always going to happen with July 4th? So that is a true statement. Okay? Not in school goes with July 4th. So that's a true statement. There is no counterexample. Because we are not in school, that's going to go with July 4th. July 4th is happening. Does that mean we are not in school? Answer is yes. Okay, the converse. Now, we're still going to start with if, and we're going to end with then. but we're going to switch the underline with the circle. The converse switches the underline with the circle. So if we are not in school, then it is July 4th. What about that? You are not in school. Does that mean it's July 4th? If that's false, then what is a specific case that you could change this to become? What's another situation where the hypothesis is going to happen? You are not in school, then it is, what other situation? The weekend. You don't need to write an if-then statement. You don't need to include multiple answers. You're just giving one specific case. Okay, you could be more specific, I guess, and say Saturday, or Sunday, or a different holiday. Right? There's a lot of times we're not in school. The 1st of August, not in school. Okay, let's try the next one. An obtuse angle measures 112 degrees. Try to figure out how you could write that in an if-then form. You have an obtuse angle. That could be your hypothesis. The other topic here is 112. Then it is, yeah. Go ahead and you try to write that statement. An obtuse angle measures 112 degrees. Write that using if-then. You can pause the video, write it out, then come back, and we'll write it out with you. If an angle is obtuse, then its measure is 112 degrees. Could you still be an obtuse angle and be something different than 112 degrees? So is this considered true or false? This is considered false. So what would be your counter example? What is the situation, if this is false, what is the situation that you could be still an obtuse angle, but not be 112? Specific answer. 130. 130 degrees. That is a specific answer. Okay? Don't give a range of answers. Don't give an if-then statement. Don't write a sentence. What is the other situation where this is a specific case, 130 degrees? Okay, what is your converse? Go ahead, pause the video, write down your converse, and if you want to continue on, figure out if it's true or false. If false, write a counterexample. Pause the video. Okay, our converse. Remember, this is our hypothesis. This is our conclusion. So we're going to switch those. If an angle measures 112 degrees, then it is obtuse. Is that true or false? Can you be something other than obtuse if you're 112? 112 happens. Are you always obtuse? And the answer is yes. That is always true for this situation. So there is no counterexample. If false, do a counterexample. Good job.